when the price of crypto assets are correcting lower, we see it as an opportunity because we think like investors. However, some look for something to show that this is bad or it's negative for a project. Now, while keeping this headline in focus inside your head, I want you to reassess the same article's title after going through all the other things which we have to discuss today. Say, looking at this, it's the reality, right? 200 million XRP moved using the lending service. You have to understand this is an area where there is a lot of regulations required, and right now you don't have much of a regulatory clarity, and still this is the case. Now, to understand the real sentiment in the market, you have to look at the charts, right? So I actually bring you to this chart. This is a kind of long-term chart, and when you look at the market sentiment, look at the RSI from last 1 year. So last 365 days, the RSI is trending higher. The price is trending, consolidating, and then moved higher. But the RSI shows you clearly that it comes down each time when it reaches that support, rising support level. It kind of bounces from there. Right now, we haven't yet reached there, but we are almost there. And then you look at the price and the downward corrective channel. The price is almost reaching the bottom. So comparing both of them and the MACD, you understand that there is a possibility that we may wick a little bit down, but come back up and close inside that channel. Now, I showed you guys this channel yesterday and discussed that we may be moving inside this one. And the chances are we will have this for upcoming session, right? So if a year of indication is not enough for you, buddy, you are a troubled investor. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. When you look at these support lines, trend lines, then the patterns evolving in the RSI, MACD and all, you can kind of compare them and at least understand 70 to 80% of probability of what is coming ahead. Because in the market side, meaning the fundamental, the news and the current events, they are showing you that there is a lot of positive stuff happening. Now this tweet from Brad Garlinghouse highlights that, right? They are eyeing this and they are trying to propagate the same information everywhere. And then this one, now the wordings are being taken back from 2015, but this is clear. It was clear to the fintech world that Ripple could match and potentially overtake Bitcoin in shaping the future of cryptocurrency. Now, we are talking this at a stage when we are all discussing, now we means central banks and all the financial giants are discussing about a new financial infrastructure. So when we see these kind of updates, say giant investors who are already invested in Ripple, and that too early investors who saw value in Ripple, the company and their direction, their vision. Now they are establishing a digital bank in Singapore. The brick and mortar bank, or the age of that, is changing. Ripple, the company, is expanding. So why is that coming together? Meaning, say the fintech space is booming, whereas the brick and mortar banks, they're closing down their branches because they do understand change is here. And it's not just the change for a normal thing, it's a change for a green future. Federal Reserve Board kind of highlights you this, announces it has formally joined the network of central banks and supervisors for greening the financial system. A green infrastructure, the plumbing of money transfer, the way you exchange value is going to change, and it is changing because if you look at the regulations coming out, the type of clarity which is slowly being pushed out by the OCC and kind of highlighted, appreciating others, you can see that. Today's approval of the new broker deposit rule helps fintech companies. So they are highlighting who? Financial technology based companies, in which Ripple is one apart, and it's not just a coincidence. These are all happening now in US. Now this is happening at a time when the market cycle is changing. The market cycle has just turned to the positive side. Now When we say that, I'll actually have to show you this, right? From last 365 days, if you look, just last 1 month, we went to the upside. Before that, if you consider the entire 330 days, we were in a consolidative stage and many were saying, okay, sell that top. If you bounce a 10%, 20% upside, that's it. Sell there, take your profit. Now, when I say sell, it's not like you're going in and selling position. I'm talking about profit taking. You buy and you sell, right? You buy at the bottom and sell at the top to make money. It's not like, you haven't, you're not having a buy position yet. You're just going there and selling. You're not a bear right now. I'm talking about bullish guy taking their profits. But right now, it's all changed. We have a resistance here, which the price didn't even care about while moving to the upside, say from 0.43 towards 0.47. When the price was going upside, it didn't even care about that resistance. But when it is correcting back to the downside, it is looking at that area as a support, right? We came back, we wicked there, and now we are retesting that support. Now, if you zoom back out and look at something back in the history, something similar, if you want to look at like, did this type of patterns evolve? Are these rhyming? So this market cycle from 2013 towards 2017, if you look at that, you can clearly get the idea what I am trying to put it here. Say this is a resistance, right? So that really is a resistance. So if you want to put a resistance, support resistance zone, you can kind of get something like this, not precise, but something like this, right? But when the price was going to the upside, it didn't even care about that, right? It went all the way above that towards the next resistance zone and then corrected back towards this one, making that as a support. That is resistance turned into support. Now that's history, trend and pattern. Now come back here and look at this on the macro perspective. You will understand that what I'm saying here is that right now this level should be acting as a resistance if it is following the history and the current pattern. Because now looking at the bottom here, from the bottom till this point, it's like around 500 days. Whereas if you look at the last market cycle from the bottom till that start of bull run, it kind of takes around 1,100 days, say 1,100 days. So that is really bullish, right? The time frame taken for this is short from the bottom. But yes, the entire market cycle, the time taken for the bottom of this cycle towards the bottom of next cycle is looking similar. Now I'll get you guys a lot more details based on these, say for example, time duration and other stuff. In next video, I'm still preparing that. I'm making the explanation for all of that with correct judgment based all the factors included here in terms of time, then in terms of percentage of fluctuation, that is the price movement. Now, if you like or not, XRP is a crypto asset, a digital asset. So if you would like to know the general trend in the market, you always have to go look at the market cycle for the altcoins. And I kind of highlighted this back, say yesterday or day before yesterday, to my patrons, and here in YouTube too, talking about the market cycle. If you look at this, we did way better. If you're looking at the ROI, you should understand when the entire altcoin market cap was eyeing 133% as target and moved upside like 88%, XRP pumped 220%. Now that is not a small deal, considering say if the entire altcoin or market is going say $1 or say X percentage, XRP is doing double that or even more than that, near towards 300%. So if you want the maximum return on your investment, you should be looking at an asset which has the potential to do this, which has the potential to repeat this. But at the same time, you also have to look at the Bitcoin dominance, because when Bitcoin dominance rises, altcoins kind of, take a breather, slow down. So in that aspect, if Bitcoin dominance is going to take a breather, like what we are doing now, then you should actually expect it to continue down. Now, I was actually trying in different exchanges so that I can give you a clear picture there. So anyway, if you're actually using same, and if you can actually put this into a weekly chart so that you will see the general trend, right, the long-term trend. So we came to the bottom, we bounced up, then while being at the top, I told you guys when we were here that the chances are we may move to the downside, and slowly we came towards here and then bounced. Now this is again acting as a resistance, right? So if this resistance holds, the price of Bitcoin should again come to the downside. And during the all season or a bull run, these kind of wild fluctuation happens in Bitcoin's dominance. So we are looking for something similar to that, because this time it's not only one or two crypto projects which are having that successful vision and executing those vision properly. It's not only XRP. If you look at XRP, XDC, Quant, there's a lot of different assets and projects which are doing perfectly fine, right? So yes, in a shorter time frame, when you go into the charts, it may be difficult for you to look at it and understand it in the right way where you should be looking at it. Always understand, followed by an impulsive move to the upside, you get a corrective wave, and most of the time these run between parallel lines, so channels. You have to understand that. Now if you want more detail, you can go into YouTube, try learning Elliott wave analysis, impulsive waves and corrective waves, those kind of stuff when you're free. But this is something which you should also keep in mind. If you don't have time for that too, this is a general concept. You have the momentum to the upside, meaning the impulsive wave is to the upside right now, and then you will have definitely correction, profit taking, sellers coming in. Then all of those who took profit somewhere here are waiting to get back in at a lower position near the support. So right now we are reaching that area of long-term support. Now do remember, we breached a long-term resistance, support resistance zone before pumping here. So now the next long-term support is at this point from 0.435, say 0.434 towards 0.48. Once we wicked into this level and we immediately found some support, meaning a lot of buyers were interested in this asset at that price, they came in and the price went to the upside. But again, they are considering taking their profit near this resistance, and sellers are entering. So on a daily, we are still below the 20-day moving average, and that is now acting as a resistance. It should be acting as a resistance, but on a weekly, you can see that still we are way far ahead from the 20-day moving average. So like the moving average is a lagging indicator, still it gives you a perspective. When we are pumping like this, we eventually correct back towards or closer to the 20-day moving average. Look at the history, you will understand what I am pointing at. But right now, this is just the preparatory wave. We are waiting for the wave 1, and when that wave 1 kicks in, yes, there would be a lot of distance between the moving average and the price. If you would like to get more clarity on that, you can just take, say, a measuring tool. So in terms of percentage, and from the bottom, if you take it here, say measuring from here, and same for that candle here, it was like 350%. So in a bull run, from the 20-day moving average, the price can move about 300% on a daily chart. Now if you have a doubt, you can again come back down and take for this particular candle here, from the bottom till the top close of that candle is 250%, and the top is like 500%. So that week the price opened around 500% and it closed around 250%. Now come back to the current scenario, take the same tool and plot the same 250, 500 or whatever percentage you want to plot, and check where the price is reaching. That average of 250 would be taking us above $1, but the high of that, around 500%, should be taking us somewhere around the all-time highs, right? Because if here in this case we are only looking at the bottom close there, but if you go there and look at the wick where the price went, it's like 730%. So if you plot that here, it's something similar towards your all-time highs. So the wave 1 for me is still pending. We have done the preparatory wave, but we haven't started that wave one yet. So if you go here on a daily chart, you can see corrective formations after breaking this long-term resistance here, for which for me looks like long-term resistance here, this particular area which we broke last month. So next is a move towards $1 or beyond that based on the euphoria. If the FOMO kicks in, it may even go towards $1.7, $1.8. But the profit taking should slow it down. History also highlights, do remember this, history also highlights it can go well near to the all-time high and above that, right? The way one can completely do that, completely obliterate your suggestions, my thoughts. But after all, profits are profit. If you are getting 800% profit, that's good. If you're getting 1000, that's even better. But you don't want to end up chasing the market and putting leverage positions, which when corrects, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your portfolio. And that's why we look at the chart, and whenever I see something, I update you guys. So majority of you guys are happy using the Patreon, getting these kind of medium-term updates, not short-term upgrades to trade the market in an hourly chart or a 5-minute chart, because I personally don't do that and I'm not a fan of it. But if you trade on a medium scale, say you're putting it based on say next 1 month to 3 months, but if the price is going parabolic, you are ready to take profit, then that's the right area to be in. You can check the link of Patreon given in the description below. Now, moving further on in the charts, there are other assets which are showing, enormous potential, right? So when you compare XLM, which we have done here previously, just to give you that idea, you can still understand that XLM is still inside that acceleration channel. So that is one of the major difference which will be pointing you towards the return on your investment, right? So one is in the acceleration channel, it's being resisted there, but it is giving you a flag-like formation, showing you the potential that it may eventually go back up, break this, and then make this as the base channel. Now, why am I showing you that here? Because if you come back, look at XRP on a similar aspect, say you delete all of these lines just to get clarity, and then plot something similar for XRP here, you kind of get this. XRP broke above that and we are retesting that area, right? So this base channel for XRP has been completed, and that is a signal where the trend is changed. If you go back, look and study about Elliott wave analysis, you will understand what I am trying to point out. As we say, when new money is entering, now I believe this is actually the Ethereum investment trust which they are actually highlighting here. So for Ethereum now, the money is increasing. As we know, majority of the attention is usually going to Bitcoin, but right now it's moving towards Ethereum. So there is some kind of information which is easy to understand that this is going towards utility perspective. Considering Bitcoin, Ethereum has much more utility, and both of them have regulatory clarity. So the investors who want to invest right now, looking for the regulatory clarity, has two assets, and if they are choosing Ethereum over Bitcoin, that's actually a good news, because once we have regulatory clarity for the payment assets like XRP, investors are going to jump in. They won't even be considered to dip the toe slowly to take more time. Instead, they would look at the market and say, okay, this is the utility, what we can see in this asset, and we've been investing in these assets, we can kind of diversify, right? That's what they will be looking at. So as we move towards further regulatory clarity like this, step by step, a little by little, that is going to push more and more investors towards assets which have that utility and which will sustain for the long run. Why do that has to be considered, why is that really important, right? Because the central banks, the governments, the global forces all are pointing towards sustainable green financial system, which means a new plumbing or new infrastructure of money. Now look at all of that and then go back, watch the last 3-4 months videos, look at all the documents which I've shared with you guys. Say even last 6 months, you've been getting the documents from IMF, United Nations, Bank of International Settlements, majority of the central banks, their project on blockchain. These all point towards one thing. If you believe it or not, it's happening in front of you. You can close your eyes and say, nah, it doesn't matter. But you should be opening your eyes after 10 years when everything changes and say, okay, I missed the opportunity. So instead of doing that, you can right now open your eyes, go through these documents and decide, should I do this or not? If you received value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.